Well, Congressman, thank you for sitting down with us. Just going to start jumping into issues. You put out a statement after President Trump launched a missile strike against Syria. I don't believe in that statement. You said whether or not you thought that was like the correct public policy or the correct foreign policy move to make to launch missiles against the Syrian government, something that hasn't been done before under President Obama. Was that the right foreign policy move for the president, for this administration to make?
Look, as I said in the statement, I support the efforts that the president, of the actions that the president took. Look, it's a travesty what they're doing to the people in Syria. And, what I do believe, though, is that moving forward, that President Trump needs to come back and, in front of the legislature, articulate exactly what his plan and his strategy is moving forward. I believe right now at this moment he doesn't have a strategy. And I would be more than happy to cut our 2-week district week to go back into session and deal with the situation. But again, my biggest concern is that the president does not have a strategy. And moving forward, before taking any further action, I believe that he needs to come back into Congress and explain to us what his strategy is and get Congress to buy in on it.
There have been a lot of data breaches, really bad ones lately. Why do you think Congress has done so little on the issue of cybersecurity so far?
Look, it is a shame that Congress has not acted, particularly the Republican leadership. Remind you, they are in control of the House and the Senate. And it is very concerning when you have a foreign government that has not been a friend of the United States, such as Russia, undermining our democracy by hacking into our systems. And it's a bigger shame that that the Republican leadership refuses to launch an independent investigation. I'm one of the first members of Congress almost over a month ago to call for an independent investigation. Because if they did this, regardless if you're Republican or Democrat, we need to make sure that we, moving forward in future elections, that if indeed there was some sort of hacking into our systems, that we can prevent it. And so, again, I wish that Republicans would put their partisan politics aside and launch an independent investigation. You saw what happened with Devin Nunes. Clearly with the conflict of interest, he should have recused himself in the committee a long time ago. But again, I believe this is an issue that has to be investigated by an independent commission, and I'm really hoping that we investigate the issue and get to the bottom of it.
Governor Sandoval has a plan to build a cybersecurity center. Have you talked with him about that or about what you can do in Congress?
No, not yet. Not specifically about that. Governor Sandoval and I, most of the conversations that we've had have been surrounding Yucca Mountain, the expansion of the Medicaid to make sure that we protect the 600,000 Nevadans who are on Medicaid, and also about infrastructure. How we can, on a bipartisan fashion, put a bill forward in Congress that will help many of the deteriorating buildings and schools and roads that we have here in the state of Nevada. I mean, just in my tour, in the 5 days that I was out there in Yerington and you name it, between Yerington, North Las Vegas, and everywhere in between, we got to see firsthand roads that were just, deteriorating, buildings that were falling apart, and this is where, we can put our parties aside, put together an infrastructure bill that will rebuild some of these schools, some of these buildings and roads, and I think that's where the direction of this Congress needs to be, rather than talking about banning certain people because of their religion or building a wall that's going to cost $21 billion. Let's focus on what actually we can accomplish, and I think infrastructure is one of those issues.
Congressman John Connors has a bill out in Congress right now calling for a single-payer Medicaid system. That doesn't have much of a chance of passing when Paul Ryan and Donald Trump are in control of Congress and the presidency. But the bill has 76 co-sponsors, and they're all Democratic House members. There's no one from Nevada who's co-sponsored that. So I'm curious if you can answer if there's a reason why you haven't co-sponsored it, and if you support a single-payer, Medicaid for all system moving forward.
Look, I believe that right now our entire energy and effort should be on protecting the Affordable Care Act and fixing it. Not just protecting it, but fixing it. Just this morning, you saw that the Freedom Caucus is nearing a deal with the president on the repeal of the Affordable Care Act. So I think right now we need to do everything possible, spend all of our energy possible to make sure that we protect the Affordable Care Act and fix wherever the Republicans can work with us on, fix some of those things that are bad with it. But that's where my energy is right now. And I believe that that's where most of the Congress, that's where my colleagues' energy should be as well.
That's not a pie in the sky dream or a goal for you, is to move to a single payer system?
Again, right now, our entire focus should be on protecting the Affordable Care Act. I don't think a lot of people understand how close we are to potentially having, or Republicans potentially having a deal already to be able to repeal the Affordable Care Act. The only reason why it didn't pass a few weeks ago is because they couldn't get their act together. They couldn't come to a compromise within their own caucus. But if news reports are true, and a deal is about to be struck, at this moment in time, we should do everything possible to remind our constituents that if you don't want to lose your health care, call your representative and express your concerns. Because here in Nevada, 600,000 people, as I mentioned in my speech, are receiving health care through the Medicaid. If we repeal the Affordable Care Act, and I talked to the governor about this, our state doesn't have the funding to take care of those 600,000 people. So again, we need to be doing everything possible right now to protect the Affordable Care Act and to fix what's wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
Your successor, Senator Cancela, had a bill that would have prevented Nevada municipalities from cooperating with ICE. Senator Ford made the call not to let it go forward. Are you upset about that?
Look, I'm disappointed that President Trump, from the day that he walked into office, the Oval Office, that he launched an attack on immigrants and refugees. Again, we shouldn't be having this discussion here at the state level. It is unfortunate that it got to this level where state legislatures and municipalities are taking it upon themselves to try to protect their innocent residents. And so I think right now where the discussion should be is at the federal level. Just a few years ago, 4 years ago, there was a compromise bill that came out of the Senate on a bipartisan manner, with the support of multiple Republicans, including John McCain, Lindsey Graham, Marco Rubio, and several others, had 60 plus votes. And unfortunately, the Republican-controlled House did not bring it up for a vote, even though the votes were there. So I believe right now, all the states and municipalities can try to pass a piece of legislation, but even if they pass, they're just Band-Aids on a broken leg. We need to fix the entire system. And I believe that, passing immigration reform would be fixing that entire system. And I think that's one of the other issues that we can find some common ground with the Republicans on. Infrastructure is one, and I think comprehensive immigration reform is another. We were this close just a few years ago. People should not be living in fear. If you're, obviously if you're a rapist or a criminal, then yeah, you should be deported. You should be in jail. I'll be the first one to say it. I'll be the first one to help them put them in jail. But we know that most immigrants in this country are honest, hardworking people that deserve an opportunity at the American dream. And so I believe that right now the Congress, instead of banning certain people because of their religion, or trying to defund Planned Parenthood, or trying to build a wall, or trying to deport 11 million immigrants, or trying to repeal the Affordable Care Act, how about we put all of that aside and we start focusing on issues where we can find some common ground on infrastructure, immigration reform, and so on.
Congressman, has anyone approached you about running against Dean Heller in 2018?
Look, right now I'm entirely focused on doing a good job for the people of the 4th District. This is, as I said in my speech, the greatest honor of my life. I never imagined that I would be a member of the House of Representatives. And I kid you not, every time I walk out of that legislative building, out of the Capitol, and I look up at the dome, I still get the chills. and I don't think they're ever gonna go away. So I never in my life imagined that I could be a member of the state assembly or state senate or run for Congress. So for me now, I understand also that with this big honor comes a big responsibility. And so I think right now people should be focused on doing their job, and that's what I'm doing.
Anyone approached you though about running it?
I mean, look, I'm focused on doing my job as a congressman, and continuing to earn the trust of everybody in my district. Look, I understand that not every person voted for me in the district, but that's part of the reason why I went on the rural Nevada tour. Even though I didn't win any of those rural counties, I still went out there, and because I know that at the end of the day, I am still their representative, and I'm still their voice in Washington D.C., and I still want to listen to what their needs are. So again, that's where my focus has been, so I don't want to look past today. I know here I'm happy to be here in the state of Nevada and just catching up with friends. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Congressman. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks so much.